Welcome back. Today I'm going to be going over chapter 11 of Priscilla Presley's book, Softly as I Leave You. Priscilla says she knew from the time Lisa Marie was born that Lisa was destined to be a musician. She said that Lisa found solace in music. Lisa would listen to music for hours in her room and would practice songs in front of the mirror when she was 11 or 12. Priscilla would sometimes walk by and catch her, and Lisa would get really shy and stop singing. Priscilla said that she would gently encourage Lisa to sing, but also being careful not to overdo it. Priscilla said that if Lisa was going to go down the path of a music career, she would have to find that path on her own. Going into music for her was a big risk because she was Elvis Presley's daughter, and Lisa was terrified of failing. By the time Lisa was in her early 20s, she was writing music and singing more. She even learned how to play the guitar. Priscilla credits this to Danny Keough, who is a talented musician, in helping Lisa advance musically. Priscilla says that Lisa singing the video duet with her dad catapulted Lisa into her music career. Singing with her dad gave Lisa courage, and when she sang the duet with her dad, it made Lisa feel like she wasn't singing alone. Also, the fact that her singing debut was on video and not in front of a live audience helped her as well. Lisa wouldn't allow anyone to be there or to watch her rehearse, including Priscilla. Priscilla says that when she did finally hear the duet, Priscilla was blown away. Lisa was so talented. Lisa, like her dad, didn't just sing a song, she lived it. Lisa's debut album came out 5 years later. She had either written or co-written every single song on that album. Priscilla describes the autobiographical album as Lisa's, quote, coming out party. After years of being in the tabloid and the press and, rumors, it was like Lisa saying, "This is me, this is my soul." Some of the songs were about Elvis and Lisa's love for Elvis, like the song titled Nobody Noticed. The song Lights Out is about her dad's passing and her own mortality. The song So Lovely was written for Riley and Benjamin. Lisa references herself as LMFP, which stands for Lisa Marie effing Presley. So Lisa's first big concert was on May 17th, 2003 at the Wango Tango concert. She was very nervous and very anxious, and again, she wouldn't allow Priscilla to watch the rehearsals. Priscilla said that she understood, and she also thinks that Lisa wanted to surprise Priscilla with a perfect performance on stage. She says Lisa's performance was amazing, and watching her on stage brought tears to her eyes. After Lisa wrapped up her last song, the audience cheered, and Lisa looked at Priscilla and gave her a really big smile. After her concert, Lisa kept saying, "I'm so glad it's over," and Priscilla gave her praises and told her how proud she was. She says that Lisa Marie never fully got over her stage fright, but it did get easier as she performed. Lisa would ask Priscilla to join her on tour to be her moral support. Lisa's second album was released 2 years later. It's called Now What? She even wrote a song about Priscilla on it. Priscilla said that when Lisa told her she was writing a song about her, Priscilla was nervous. She didn't know what it was going to entail. Would it be about their struggles? Would it be about their love for one another? And it turns out it was both. The song is called Raven. She says that she was so touched by Lisa's honesty and their bond in the song that Priscilla cried. After Lisa's marriage to Michael Jackson ended, Lisa focused on her children. She casually dated here and there until she met Nicolas Cage in 2001 at a birthday party for Johnny Ramone. She says their meeting was like a clap of thunder. At the time, Lisa was engaged to a musician named John Osaka, and Nicolas Cage was still married to his estranged wife, Patricia Arquette. But Nick described meeting Lisa as life-changing, and soon after they were in a relationship. Both Nick and Lisa had a lot in common. They both came from families that were in the entertainment industry. So I didn't know this, but Nicolas Cage is related to Francis Coppola. He is Francis Coppola's nephew. Priscilla describes the last name Coppola as a liability, quote, a liability. I don't know what she meant by liability. I don't know if something happened with the Coppola family. I have no idea. But she says that both Lisa and Nick knew what it was like to be judged by their family name. Priscilla says that Lisa also felt that Nick was on the same level as her as far as being successful and strong-minded. Priscilla says that she liked Nick from the get-go. He had the same temperament as Lisa, but he also had a good heart and a, quote, great capacity for love. She said Nick got a lot of flack when it first came out that he was dating Priscilla Presley because he was known as an Elvis fan, and people thought that he was just dating her because she was Elvis Presley's daughter. So rumors began to fly about him having an obsession with Elvis. Priscilla said these stories were clearly fabrications if you really knew Nick. She had never got the sense that Nick was with Lisa simply because she was Elvis Presley's daughter. Going back to Lisa and Nick's temperament, she said that they loved hard, but they also fought hard, yelling, screaming, throwing things. They often broke up and got back together a day or two later. So their solution? They got married. She said Nick got Lisa a 6-carat, $65,000 engagement ring that ended up being flung over his yacht into the ocean after a fight. She said that Lisa took the ring off and threw it at Nick, and then Nick, furious, threw it into the ocean. But they soon hired divers after to find it, but it was nowhere to be found. So he ended up getting Lisa Marie another ring, a bigger one, 10 carats this time, and they continued their engagement. Priscilla said that she had little hope of the marriage actually lasting, but she tried to stay optimistic. The small wedding took place on the big island of Hawaii at a place called Mauna Lani Bay Hotel on August 10th, 2002, which was 6 days before the anniversary of Elvis's passing. It was 6 days before the 25th anniversary of Elvis's passing. Priscilla's father, Paul, walked Lisa down the aisle, and she said Lisa looked beautiful in her traditional wedding gown, complete with a long train. 3 months later, Lisa told her that she and Nick were filing for divorce. She described the two of them, Lisa described her and Nick, as tyrannical pirates, and that when one pirate marries another, they both sink the ship. She says the breakup was very difficult, but eventually after the initial trauma, Nick and Lisa remained friends, and that Nick had said during a Barbara Walters interview that he missed Lisa every day, but if they got back together, it was going to be the same ending. They were just better off as friends. Meanwhile, Priscilla says that Navarone was growing and was still her sweet little boy, outwardly that is. She had no idea that he had started experimenting with drugs since high school. She had figured that he would maybe mess around with pot, as most celebrity kids did, but she didn't think he would try anything harder. She said it was ironic that she was an anti-drug activist while her kids were growing up, but yet they both developed quote, an unhealthy relationship with drugs. Lisa, she says, turned to drugs because she just didn't fit in. It was a refuge for her. For Navarone, she says that he was just naturally experimental and curious, noting back to when he was a little kid and would try everything. So when his friends tried drugs, he wanted to try drugs too. She says that both of her kids knew how strongly she stood against drugs because of her experience with Elvis. And instead of her kids using that knowledge to stay away, it just made them good at hiding the drugs from her. She says she had no idea that Navarone had been doing heroin since he was 15, and that she wouldn't find out for years. She says that she thinks that Navarone struggled with the family dynamics. He wasn't a Presley. He didn't want to be, but he was very aware that the public thought Lisa as an only child. When the three of them would go out, Priscilla, Lisa, and Navarone was largely ignored. People would flock to Lisa. So Priscilla would go and stand next to Navarone to show everyone that he was with them, that he was her son. And he'd tell her, "Mom, it's okay. You don't have to stand next to me." She says in 2005, their family experienced a, quote, personal and financial crisis, end quote. 12 years after coming into her inheritance, Lisa was broke. Priscilla says that she was sure that Lisa was not receiving good financial advice, and that talking to Lisa about finances was a very, quote, delicate matter, and that Lisa was just not good at handling money. What Priscilla didn't see coming was Lisa selling 85% of her inheritance in August of that year. The sale included Graceland. Lisa Marie would keep the mansion and grounds, as well as Elvis's personal effects, but she no longer had control over her dad's legacy. Priscilla said she was devastated, not only because Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises was a stream of income for Lisa Marie, but also because she felt that she had lost what she considered was her emotional home. She had poured so much of herself into opening Graceland and helping Lisa Marie set up exhibits there. She said one of the most stunning exhibits was the exhibit that showed Elvis's 117 gold records. Walking in and seeing the gold records was like walking just a gold mine, and that even other artists walked away in awe. Now, the majority owner of Graceland is a man by the name of Joel Weinshanker. And she said that she can still visit, but she no longer has any say in what happens at Graceland. That same year, Lisa Marie married her lead guitarist and producer from her What Now album. His name is Michael Lockwood. She said that their relationship, Lisa's and Lockwood's relationship, took over time, unlike her very fast relationship with Nicolas Cage. Priscilla met Lockwood for the first time after one of Lisa's concerts. She said she liked him, and she could see that Lisa Marie was falling in love with him. She said when Lisa told Priscilla that she liked Lockwood, Priscilla took this as a good sign, because when you like someone, it implied respect and friendship and not just attraction. The two wed 3 years later on January 22nd, 2006. It was a small, beautiful ceremony in Kyoto, Japan. Priscilla walked Lisa down the aisle this time. Priscilla says that she was hopeful that this marriage, Lisa's fourth marriage, would prosper. Priscilla says as Lisa was starting a new chapter in her life, one in Priscilla's ended. After 22 years, she and Garibaldi broke up. She says the relationship ran its course. That's all she says. No other explanation. Now, Priscilla goes into the reason why she no longer has the desire to find, quote, true love. She says there are a few reasons. One is that the fact that she did not always make good choices. She says she, like Lisa, was the target of flattery for years from both men and women. And the woman part, I think she means like financially, like financial gain, I think. For example, she says for Priscilla, her house is her home, but to others, it's a valuable piece of real estate, a chance for free rent. And so now I'm wondering, is she implying that her last live-in love or live-in loves were just after free rent? People would also use her just for her connections to A-list celebrities, and sometimes friends, quote friends, would claim her accomplishments as their own. She doesn't elaborate on this. I don't know what accomplishments someone else has tried to claim as their own, but I'm curious about it. And of course, having or carrying the Presley last name will bring or attract ill-intended people to try and befriend her. Sorry, had to turn on the light. It was getting dark. Okay, so she says that also having been married to Elvis, the men that she dated felt that they were often living in his shadow. She says, and I'm going to quote her here, quote, contrary to allegations from some exes, I was careful not to bring Elvis into the lives of the men I dated. I rarely took his calls when he was alive or played his music, end quote. She didn't speak of Elvis unless it was related to business operations related to Elvis Presley Enterprises, which, by the way, is now owned by a company called Authentic Brands. She said her son can attest to this, and so could have Lisa. Priscilla says in some ways she's still that naive 14-year-old girl that met Elvis. Unlike in her business dealings where she is very careful, she can let her guard down around people that she feels that she can trust. She says she chooses to live her life taking people at face value and not having any reason to believe that they aren't who they say they are. She doesn't want to live her life as a cynic. And she says she's learned to be more careful, but she's not going to shut herself off completely. Priscilla was 60 years old when she and Marco Garibaldi ended their relationship. She was older and had learned a lot about herself. She says she's resilient, and being on her own again, she rediscovered how much she enjoyed freedom and independence. She was no longer the young wife dedicated to pleasing her man, saying that she'd rather please herself. And with that, she no longer has the desire to fall in love with another man. Her independence was, she said, hard-earned. She says, unquestionably, Elvis is at the center of her reluctance to get married again or to find a long-term partner. She had found true love, but she was too young to realize it, and she never got a chance to rediscover it with Elvis because he had passed away so young. She recalls the time that she and Lisa were sitting in Dodger's room with Elvis, and they were talking about getting old. Elvis said he'd be gray and have a beard, and he told her, and I'm going to quote her book here, he told her, quote, "We'd probably be old by the time we got back together. Imagine us racing around in golf carts then. You'd be 60 and I'd be 70, end quote." What would she say to Elvis now if he were alive? Quote, "Fire up the golf cart, Stanton, and I'll even let you drive," end quote. That's it for chapter 11. Stay tuned for chapter 12, where Priscilla discusses her stint on the show Melrose Place, her experience on Dancing with the Stars, and making terminally ill patients' dreams come true. See you then.